What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our SEC football channel. The regular season might be over, but the news and the stories are just beginning. You got coaches being fired, you got players transferring, you've got players making their NFL decisions. I mean, there is so much going on here in the month of December and then on into January. Today, we're going to talk about Jake Bentley and the fact that he is now transferring from South Carolina. We'll talk about him a little bit and where he might wind up. And there are so many options when I look at this thing. I mean, there are a lot of places he could wind up, and it's going to be really interesting to see where he goes. And again, I'm not going to be able to do reaction videos or talk about all of these stories, but I'm going to try to get to as many as I can. I have a lot going on right now, but we're going to try to talk about the bigger stories. And I think this is actually a pretty big story because this is a pretty good quarterback. Jake Bentley, not bad at all, and he's the guy that could come in and make an immediate impact on a team. You look at what he did at South Carolina, and he threw over 1,000 passes there, had a career 62.5 completion percentage, threw for over 7,500 yards. The one issue for him was the interceptions. He had 55 touchdowns in his career, but 32 interceptions. That was the one thing he was going to have to clean up coming into this season. 2018, he threw 14 picks. 2017, he threw 12 picks. So that's the one area he has got to improve. Other than that, though, he's been a really solid quarterback. Not really a runner, but has a little bit of mobility. I don't think he's going to really fit in an offense where you're going to ask the quarterback to run. But he's got a big arm. He's pretty accurate and just needs to maybe make some better decisions. And again, I think he could have an immediate impact on a team. He is from the state of Alabama. I think I did a little bit of research before I did this video to see maybe what some other people were saying, and I saw a bunch of Pac-12 schools listed. Utah, Oregon, places like that. I don't see Jake Bentley going all the way across the country when there are a lot of teams in the Southeast that could use him next year. The two that really I think would make the most sense would be actually to leave the SEC and go to Duke or NC State. Both of those teams, those programs could really use a quarterback next year. Both teams struggled at that spot. You maybe could have some time to develop a younger player, bring Jake Bentley in next year, and have a chance to maybe have a pretty successful season. But I don't really see any quarterbacks on those two rosters that are going to be ready to, be real impact players next year. So those are the two schools that I'm looking at, NC State and Duke. I think that's, if I'm going to give a prediction, I'd say he winds up at one of those two schools. But there are a lot of options in the SEC, and I don't know exactly, sometimes you can coaches block transfers or whatever. I don't know exactly how that works, but I know players have transferred from one SEC school to another, so it could definitely happen. And again, there are many options. You look at Tua now gone in Alabama. He's from the state of Alabama. He could probably step in there to the Crimson Tide and maybe have a shot. I don't know. Mac Jones looked pretty good in that Iron Bowl game. I don't know that he could beat him out. And Alabama's going to have some other options there as well next year, I have a feeling. So I don't really think he stays in his home state of Alabama and goes there. But you look at Georgia, if Jake Fromm were to go to the NFL, I think he would be a really good fit there. I don't know. I mean, would you really see a quarterback go to a rival school like that? I guess it's possible. Joe Burrow going to be gone from LSU. Jake Bentley could maybe step in there. Remember, Joe Burrow wasn't a Heisman candidate or anything like that until he got in that LSU offense this year. Maybe Jake Bentley could have the same type of success. It's possible. So you're looking at two, big name teams that he could help maybe even make a run at the college football playoff. If that's what he's looking to do, I'm sure he'll have to fight because there will be other quarterbacks on those rosters that will definitely challenge him. So I don't know if he's going to want to go that route or not. And then a school that really I think would make a lot of sense is Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt really struggled at that position this year. I think Jake Bentley would have, there's no doubt he would start at Vanderbilt next season. That, I think, would be a good option if he wants to stay in the SEC. You got Big 12 schools as well where he could potentially fit in. What if he goes and goes to Kansas with Les Miles? There are tons of options. There are going to be a lot of quarterback needs coming up this season. A lot of quarterbacks going to be graduating or going off to the NFL. So I think he has plenty of options. It's just a matter of where does he want to go and which school wants him. Again, this is very early on, so I haven't really heard any legitimate rumors of interest or anything like that. If you guys hear anything, you can let me know down in the comments. I'm sure we'll be getting some of that information here pretty quickly. But it was no surprise to me that he left South Carolina. Ryan Hilinski came in there and played really well as a true freshman. I don't think Bentley was going to beat him next year. I thought Hilinski just did an excellent job here. I know he's banged up a little bit, but the future is really bright with him. I think they will go with him again next year, most likely. So not really surprised that Jake Bentley is leaving. A graduate transfer, he can go wherever he wants. He doesn't have to sit out a year. I think this is definitely the right move for him. I think it's best for South Carolina. They just go ahead and move on. And it's Ryan Hilinski. Obviously, you want to have that depth at quarterback, but I don't think it's going to be a huge deal. And it's just a matter of waiting and seeing where Jake Bentley decides to play football in 2020. There was a little bit of talk about him actually going to the NFL after the 2018 season. He decided to stay, and maybe that was a mistake. Maybe he should just went on to the NFL. Probably wouldn't have been a first or second round pick, but maybe he could have made a team. Or maybe coming back now, he'll have another year and he'll be able to play on a better team, and maybe that will improve his draft stock, and then maybe he'll have a shot in the NFL. We'll have to wait and see how all that plays out, but I would love to, again, get your thoughts on this. Where do you think Jake Bentley will go? Again, my pick is either Duke or NC State. NC State, I think, would probably be the pick if I had to pick somewhere, because I think that he has a real shot to be the immediate starter there and have an immediate impact on that team and that program. Again, your thoughts down below. Thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned for more here on our SEC Football channel.